is finally talking. Following his benching on Monday, the former #1 pick spoke to reporters. Now, Bryce handling the demotion with class and taking ownership of his bad play that led to his benching. For Young, now it's time to sit back, put in the work so that he's ready if and when his number gets called again.
It doesn't change my approach. Still, even if it's different, you're out in practice at different times, it's still the same mindset of trying to, try to help the team and be the best I can. Still the same off the field process. Still, get in and leave at the same time. Still watch the same stuff. Still prepare the same way. That's just, I love the game and I respect the game, and I won't budge on that no matter what. So the process is always going to be the same no matter what the circumstances are.
Listen, you got to give the kid some credit. He owned up to it. He's a good kid with a good head on his shoulders, and yeah, maybe it was the situation he was in. Maybe it was the 3 head coaches he had in 18 games. Whatever it may be, at the end of the day, there's one thing that never lies and is always undefeated, and that is game film. So let me break down just a couple of fundamental reasons he got benched. Come with me now, because when I tell you that the problems with Bryce Young were bad, they were bad. Let's look at the Los Angeles Chargers contest against the Carolina Panthers. 3rd and 5 in the first quarter, about 6:23 in the game. All right, shotgun formation for Bryce Young. He's already in shotgun, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see this circle right here? I'll give this up to the running backs. They should make that block. But still, shotgun formation, and 5. I'm not done. 6, I'm not done. 7, you take a 7-step drop. When you're in shotgun formation, you are on the 36-yard line. You're almost at the 50 now. You see the pressure coming? You have to be able to do something. You have to be able to live to play another down. Bryce Young has been rattled from day one. He has been sacked from day one. So what does he do? He tries to create more space on the left side, runs to the left side. But remember what I said. I said live to play another down. He's already at the 50, 45-yard line. This right here is the line of scrimmage. At least get to the line of scrimmage. This right here is the first down marker. If you can't find someone open, then just throw the ball away. You're at the 36-yard line. This could be a 52-yard field goal. The score could be 6-3. The worst thing you could do is take a sack. What does he do? He takes a sack. All right, let me take you to this play now. Let's take a look at this later in the game. Bryce Young, okay, this looks good. Completion. Well, hold a chicken, Jorge. Why are you complaining? He made a completion. No, it's not about the completion. Take a look at the formation. Twins on both sides. You got 2 receivers up top. Look at the defense. 2 high safety. They're spread out. They're effectively running zone. If you are a quarterback, you have to see that they're running zone. So if they're running zone, what do you have to do? You have to look for your open receivers. Deontay Johnson has got one of the best jab steps in the NFL. Xavier Legette, he's a big physical wide receiver. Look at the zones right now. That is open, down and distance. It's 3rd and 7. You don't need a check down to your running back for just a couple of yards. You need to get the first down, but he finds his running back. He gets a yard or 2, gets a completion, but at the end of the day, it's turnover because it's time to punt the football. He's been rattled. He's been shaken. He's been sacked. He's been intercepted. It's not the line that's the problem whatsoever. This line has improved this year with the additions of Hunt, Lewis, and the movement of Corbett to center. Look at this pocket. This pocket is a pocket passer's dream. Yes, it is. Son, step into the pocket and make the pass. Instead, he's rushed, and he throws it where? Into triple coverage. 1, 2, 3 defenders against the receiver. That's always going to be an interception. Those are just a couple of the fundamental reasons why Bryce Young was benched. He's hurried too much. He's too quick. He does not live to play another down. And at the end of the day, it's about getting points and not being rattled. Let it be the situation. Let it be whatever you want. Bryce Young is not your guy. And that's what Coach Canales put him on the bench. Andy Dalton will be your starter come Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, you can watch that game against the Raiders as they travel to Sin City to take on the Raiders. Kickoff at 4:05 p.m. You can watch it right here on WBTV. And to get you set for that game, I will also join Jamie Bull and Nate Wimberly tonight at 7:30 for a special edition of On Your Side Tonight. All right, folks, time to take a quick break. But when we return, it seems as the Crown has lost its way. Can Charlotte FC steady the ship against New England this weekend and continue their playoff push? Our experts join us next.
David Tepper wanted you, the taxpayer, to pay $650 million for stadium upgrades, but his company took more than a year to pay for CMPD officers to work game day. Why the delay? WBT investigates Sunday at 11.
The best high school football coverage is on WBTV's Football Friday Night.
Hey, Charlotte! What's football Friday night? Come on!
Catch all the highlights from the game of the week.
And we'll break down the play of the week everyone will be talking about.
Football Friday Night tonight at 11:20 only on WBTV.
Sponsored by Bojangles and Universal Windows Direct.
Multiple lane changes, tailgating, speeding, the daily chaos of driving Charlotte crazy. We've all seen it. Now WBTV is streaming a new show dedicated to the madness of Charlotte traffic. Join the ride. Download the WBTV News app and stream us on any device.
Welcome back to the Point After. And at one point, they were among the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference. Well, Charlotte FC has stumbled to a compromising position. Since the month of July, the Crown has won just one game. A record of 1-3-4 in their last 8 MLS matches has them currently sitting in 7th place and possibly on their way out of the playoff picture. A great way to avoid that and stop the bleeding is by getting a much-needed win at home against the Eastern Conference, that is, their worst club, New England Revolution. And that's why I'm joined by Antonio Ramos, the color commentator for the Spanish language broadcast of Charlotte FC. Antonio, thanks for joining us. And look, man, losses against Orlando, Montreal, Atlanta, it has not been good. I'll put it simple for you here. What's happening?
Well, Jorge, always great talking with you again. Thanks for having me on the show. And yes, tough streak for Charlotte FC right now. We have to start creating more chances up front. You know, our wingers need to win more one-on-one matchups. Let's get back to the basics, right? And listen, it's not about just one player making the difference. It's a collective effort to find different solutions to score more goals. You still have a top 5 defense in the MLS. And as you said, we have a huge game tomorrow at Bank of America Stadium against New England Revolution. They're last place in the Eastern Conference. Charlotte still stays above the playoff line right now in 7th place with 38 points. With 5 games left on the season, 3 of those are at home. You need all those 9 points at home to keep those playoff hopes alive.
Antonio, I want to piggyback on something you just mentioned. Look, this team is fundamentally sound when it comes to defense, but lately they kind of look a little tired. You know, how frustrated would you say is the defense right now, given that the attack has really not been there for much of the year, really?
Yeah, and tomorrow I think we're going to see a very energetic team tomorrow. I expect Dean Smith making some changes in the lineup to find a spark on offense. We have resources with Swiderski coming back from Italy on that loan with Hellas Verona. You have Liel Abada, Kerwin Vargas, newcomer Pep Biel has shown signs of some creativity. Patrick Ayeman, he needs to find the net again. It takes a collective effort, as I said, to find spaces in the last third, put your attackers in good positions to score, and finish your plays. Again, of those 5 games left in the regular season, 4 are against teams below the playoff line. As we mentioned, New England is last place, Chicago is 14th place, Montreal is in 13th place. DC United on decision day might be a tricky one. They will fight for a playing spot, but you got to focus on the game tomorrow, because next week you play against Inter Miami, Lionel Messi, and Luis Suarez. But tomorrow is a crucial game for our team. We need all our support at the Fortress tomorrow to get back on track. And again, it's not about how you start the season, it's how you finish. You know, good teams peak at this time of year.
Yeah.
We have enough good players to get our rhythm back and push for that playoff spot.
And look, if you've been watching The Crown closely throughout the season, you can see what they've done with good teams and bad teams. New England is the worst team in the Eastern Conference. It should be an easy win, but the Crown does either play up to the competition like they did with Cincinnati, or they play down to their competition like they did with Montreal. What can we expect on Saturday against a team that is the worst team in the Eastern Conference?
You got to start fast. You don't want to let the opposition to impose their will early in the game. I think Charlotte FC is a team built on building the play from down to the top, and finding ways to progress with Ashley Westwood, being very patient with the ball. Charlotte FC is not built to come back and win if you're starting to lose the game. So it's all about cohesion in the midfield. Ashley Westwood is like your quarterback on that field. He's the guy that touches the ball a lot of times. You need some help in the center of the field. I think a guy like Pep Biel, which has a good resume playing in Europe, he's more like a attacking midfielder. He's a very creative guy. He played as a right winger last game, so they're trying to move him around just to find some good connections up front with Swiderski or with Patrick Ayemang. That connection, that society in the field, you need to start moving your pieces around and trust the talent you have. And again, it's not just pointing at one player. There's a lot of good wingers and resources you have up front, but it all starts for me from the base. If you're having problems, if New England Revolution is going to come and pressure you high. Yeah. It's a high pressure team. So one of those mechanisms to just avoid the pressure is Ashley Westwood dropping in between the two center backs and still try to find more spaces in the midfield. Sure. You just got to play as a unit. And again, when you're one-on-ones, it's going to be maybe a tricky game tomorrow against the last place in the Eastern Conference, but you got to win. It's a must-game win.
It really is. They have to collect 3 points here at home. Finally, last question for you. You mentioned the remaining schedule. You mentioned 3 of those last 5 games are at home: Miami, Chicago, Montreal, DC, and of course New England. In that same breath, there are other teams that are nipping at their heels to either get into that 7th spot or at least finish in the 8th or 9th spot to have a play-in game. If we have a panic meter out here and it's time to hit the panic meter, where are we realistically with the panic meter in Charlotte FC?
It's a wake-up call. And again, you got 3 games at home. Toronto is just right there in the 8th spot, and they're fighting for the play-in. You don't want to go play the play-in again, just like last year, because we were 5th place in the Eastern Conference at some point. I think the players know it. We've listened to Bram Bronico take some accountability and say, "Hey, we're not finding enough, chances," and it takes really all of the players to get this team back on track. You have the both of New York teams above you, 2 points, 3 points. Just it's a very tight race in the Eastern Conference. When if you win, you can wake up next Monday at the 5th spot in the Eastern Conference. But if you lose, you can drop to the 8th or 9th spot. So that's why it's a very, very important game tomorrow. Again, this New England team has some vulnerability. You can really make some damage on their defense. And we're just expecting a huge crowd tomorrow at Bank of America Stadium. The team is also doing the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. Lots of activities around the stadium. Make sure to be there early. We're celebrating our Latino community. Local artists will display their creations. You don't want to miss this, but also we have to support the team because there's only 3 games left at home in the season. We need 9 points at home, and maybe overall from those 5 games left, I'll say 13 points, they're going to secure you a playoff spot right now.
A party that starts early, the crowd behind the team, and most importantly, the 3 points as the crowd makes their push. Joining us, Antonio Ramos, the color commentator for the Spanish language broadcast of Charlotte FC. Antonio, thanks for the time.
Thank you, Jorge, as always.
Let's switch gears here and focus on high school football, where it's the end of another work week, which means We have another great night of football Friday night coming your way in just a few hours. Tonight is the night that conference play begins for most of the teams in our area. And this week's game of the week takes us up to Denver for a heavyweight showdown between East Lincoln and Hickory. These are the last two state champions at the 3A level, and the winner of this game the last 2 years has gone on to finish not only undefeated, en route to those titles as well. Look, for a ton of offense in this game. I'm talking touchdowns. Both of these programs are averaging over 50 points per game so far this season. In terms of the big picture storylines in this one, you've got a Red Tornadoes team looking to defend a throne and a Mustangs team looking to prove last year's rebuild is in the rearview mirror.
Absolutely, and I've talked to the kids just about every halftime about making a statement, against Lincolnton, against Stuart Kramer, against Forest View. Every time we've had a conversation as a group, we've talked about, people don't believe in you. Here's your chance. Make that statement. Make this Friday night a statement. And if we're able to do that this Friday night, then, maybe we'll get put back on the map.
And don't forget, our Cam Gaskins will be live at East Lincoln on WBTV News this evening, getting you ready for kickoff. Then Cam and Nate Wimberly will have all the week's action from around the area tonight at 11:20 for Football Friday night. All right, folks, it's that time of the show when you stack your units, you pad your paper, and you make your picks. It's time for our best bets. We went a perfect 3-0 last week, and here are my top 3 picks for this week in college football. All right, let's start with North Carolina State. Oh, the disrespect. I'm talking massive disrespect. Yes, they got blown out by Tennessee, but Clemson got blown out by Georgia too. Two teams that got spanked by teams that were way better than them. But some books have them as 20.5-point dogs. Give me the points. I'm taking the Wolfpack to cover the 20.5-point spread. All right, next we have a great game between Tennessee and Oklahoma. The Vols have been rolling this year and are 7-point favorites in some books. Well, this time it's a little personal. Let's not forget, Josh Heupel was once forced out of his alma mater as the Sooners' offensive coordinator. Well, revenge is a dish best served cold. Tennessee wins big, and they cover the 7-point spread. Finally, it is so weird that I'm going to call this game an actual ACC game, but yes. Stanford travels to upstate New York to take on Syracuse on national TV, and well, on national TV, you're going to get some points. Both of these defenses will let anyone score, and these offenses want to look good on that national stage. My play here is to take the over of the 56.5-point line. And there you have it, folks. Time to stack those units. Those are your best bets. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of The Point After. Don't forget, there's a special on your side tonight, Panthers special, coming up at 7:30 this evening. Make sure you tune in to WBTV News for that. And for The Point After, you can join us every Monday and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. However you get your programming, whether it's your cell phone, your tablet, your television, all you need is the Apple TV app, the Fire TV app, the Roku stick, or the absolutely free WBTV News app. See you.